Hello. Okay, so I can see that people are already joining us again. Okay, so first of all, welcome to this second live stream that we are starting on our YouTube channel. And I'm so sorry for earlier because I we tried streaming like through OBS so that we can share our screen with you, but unfortunately there is some issue with the internet apparently. So I think we can just do it like the traditional way, so just the camera, and we talk and we interact through the live chat. Okay, so that's my name. My name is Hamza Aja, and I'm streaming from Souera in Morocco. So I think we can wait a little bit for like more people to join before we can like talk in depth about today's topic. All right. Okay, so let's see. So I can see that some people are already joining. So if you can please do the same thing that I did and write for us your name, maybe just your first name and where you are joining us from. For example, for me, I'm joining from Souera region in Morocco. I'm not sure whether some of you guys are familiar with it. Maybe Moroccan people who are joining us here will be familiar with the place, but I'm not sure about foreigners whether they will be like familiar with the place or not. So if you can write for us your name and where you are joining the live stream from, so that we can start a chat before we go and tackle the topic that I chose for you today. Okay, so let's wait. Okay. So I was normally like I prepared a little presentation for you guys so that we can like share it and interact with it and stuff. But unfortunately, there is some problem I think with the internet. So we will just do everything like through the speaking and the camera interaction, and also through the chat interaction. So I think that will just make things like more straightforward between us. All right, so hello. So let us know who is joining us and where you are joining us in the chat. All right, so I see that more and more people are joining. Welcome to this live stream. So this is, let me remind you, this is the second live stream on our YouTube channel. And we have decided that this will be like a weekly thing. Maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly, maybe we can do it twice per week. So we're just like settling and trying things out and seeing what's working and what's not. So if you can, so let me remind you, since I have here some more people. So my name is Hamza. I'm joining from Souera. So if you guys can let us know your names and where you are joining us from, we would love to get to know you, and so that we can interact like more directly. So your name, let me maybe write that for you in the chat. Your name and where you're joining us from. Okay. So if you can share with us where you are joining us from, and then we can start. So as I said in the previous live stream, because we launched a live stream like a couple of minutes ago, but it didn't work because of some internet issues. So normally this live streams or these live streams will be weekly or sometimes maybe 2 to 3 times per week. But unfortunately, we couldn't live stream last weekend because I think most of you have heard about the devastating earthquake, the earthquake that hit Morocco. And since I'm based in Morocco and we've been a little bit affected by the earthquake, so we decided to just skip last week so until things like are clearer for us. All right. So did you guys hear about the earthquake? I think you have heard about it on the news and on YouTube and stuff about the earthquake that hit Morocco. I'm not sure why I don't see the interaction in the chat box. Is it from the setting or participants? All right. Okay, so maybe I can start by introducing the topic of today. So today we will introduce a topic. I'm not sure who was with us here in the previous live stream. We talked a little bit about the types of stories that we can read. We talked about maybe some examples about each type. So, for example, we've seen, for example, fantasy, and we talked about, for example, Alice in Wonderland. Like this is a very famous fantasy work. It's for children. So, Alice in Wonderland. All right. There is also, for example, in horror stories, we talked about stories like Frankenstein. And I think some of you know already that next month, at the end of next month, there will be very special celebration that is related to horror and things that are scary. Maybe if any one of you knows what celebration I'm talking about, you can write it for us in the chat. So let me just check if there is any issue with the chat because I can't see any interaction and stuff. Okay. Mm. All right, so I see Abdurrahman. Hello, Abdurrahman is one of our admins, but I want to know about the rest of you. So before we start our topic, so okay, all right. So I have Abdurrahman, Bashir. Hello, good evening, Abdurrahman. So if you guys can write for us in addition to your name, example for me, I'm joining from Suwara in Morocco. So Abdurrahman or yeah, Abdurrahman Bashir, if you can tell us where you are joining us from. I am from Morocco, actually. I'm from Morocco. I'm Moroccan, and I'm joining from. And I'm waiting for the rest of you guys to interact with us, and so that we can get to know who's joining us from, where we are, like where different people are joining us on this live stream. Oh, Somalia. Great. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So welcome. I would love to welcome the people of Somalia. Teacher, we write it like this, Abdurrahman, so if you can correct it. So great, wonderful. So we have people Morocco, Somalia so far. So if we can see which other regions are joining us today, let us see. All right, so I don't see a lot of interaction, unfortunately. Um, okay, so maybe we can start by sharing with you. Okay, all right, Marwan, hello. Marwan, I think I still remember you were with us, I think, in the previous live stream. I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Marwan. How about yourself? Great, Abdurrahman. It's totally fine. The mistake that I pointed out about teacher, it's not very important, but I just like wanted you to know how we write it because I just couldn't let it there. Otherwise, like if you can just understand English, you can understand songs, for example, you can watch movies without the need, for instance, of translation. That's fantastic. And learning English is like gradual. So we just like we don't learn English like one day we don't know English, the next day we can speak it very very well. Okay, it's a gradual topic. Hello, I think we have Abdurrahman. Hello, Wincoin with me. Welcome to this live stream and great Abdurrahman, thank you. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So maybe let me just repeat very quickly so that we can start. So my name is Hamza. I will be your host in these live streams. We will start having these live streams every week. So we will see. So minimum, we will have one live stream per week. This is the minimum. Okay. So one live stream per week, every Sunday. And we will see, of course, whether we can have more, like 2 or 3 times. It's just because of work that I'm not really available all the time. Great. So another thing, uh, yes, I think there is an Instagram like Woo English, and there is my own Instagram, which is this one. So this is my personal Instagram, but of course, you can have Woo English. Also, they have an Instagram. Like we have an Instagram for the page. Great. I can see a lot of hype in the chat. Thank you so much, guys. As I said, we will have these live streams every week. We couldn't live stream last week because of the devastating earthquake that hit our country, that hit Morocco. And since I'm in Morocco, also we would love to send our prayers to the people in Libya who's been hit with the floods. And yeah, it's very sad, but yeah. Okay. So we can start our topic for today. Hello, Gomez. Raul Gomez, where you are joining us from. The same thing for Marwan. If you can tell us where you are joining us from, we'd love to know where you guys are joining us from. And while you are doing that, so let me share with you the topic of this session. So this session will be about English through stories, and we will talk about narrative tenses today. So narrative tenses basically, so narrative is anything related to stories, and tenses simply mean what are the tenses that we use when we are telling a story. So, for example, if I'm telling a story, I can say, for example, should I use the present simple? Should I use the past simple? Should I use the present continuous? English has 12 or more tenses, so it has a lot of tenses. So sometimes it can be very difficult to know what tenses should we use when we are telling a story. Okay, so today we will get to know 3 or 4 main tenses that we use when we are telling a story, and we will see how do we use them, when do we use them, and why do we use them? Why do we use these tenses? Okay. All right. So I can see that a lot of people are still watching, but that's totally fine. The live stream, of course, will be recorded and it will be on the YouTube channel so that you can watch it like on your free time later on. Okay, so to start this session, let me share with you. Uh, uh, Originally, I have actually prepared like a whole story, but it will be very, very difficult probably to share a whole story in the chat box. Let me see. Okay, so I can remove a message if I don't like it. Okay, wonderful. So, all right. It's very long though, and I don't see like a lot of people. Okay, so I will share just with you the sentences. Okay. All right. Okay, so I will just share with you some sentences, and from these sentences, we'll try to extract when do we use the tenses we are talking about. So this is sentence number 1. So sentence number 1. Okay. So that's the first sentence. Let me see the second one. The second one, this is the second sentence. All right. And this is the third sentence. So it had been sunny. Say very tired because he hadn't slept well last night. Okay, so this is the third sentence that we will work on, so that to try to extract the tenses that we are talking about today. All right. So what I want you to do now is to look at the sentences that I wrote in the chat and try to tell me what are the tenses that you can see in these three sentences. So what are the tenses? Which tenses are used in these three sentences? Before we move to why did we use those three tenses? Okay, so John woke up very tired. You know what? He's very tired. So I am very tired when I didn't sleep well, so I'm tired. Okay. Or when I did some sports, I will feel very tired. Okay. I don't have a lot of energy. That's what we mean by tired. So John woke up very tired because he hadn't slept well last night. So he didn't sleep well. So he was very tired and he didn't have a lot of energy. So here we have three sentences, and in each sentence, we have different tenses. So if you can write for me in the chat, what are the tenses that you see? And before we move to why did we use those tenses? So I will give you maybe a couple of minutes so that, because I'm not sure whether there is a little lag between me and you. So I will give you a couple of minutes so that you can try to extract and find the tenses used in the sentences. And at the same time, of course, if any new person joins the live stream, you are more than welcome to share with us your name and where you are joining us from. So I would love to get to know, uh, to know, to know you guys and know where you are joining us. All right. So again, for maybe those of you who has just joined, so we just gave you three sentences in the chat box, and your task will be to find the tenses that are used in the chat or in the sentences, and try to share with us what is the tense, just the name of the tense, and we will take it from there about how or why we are using that specific tense. All right, so hopefully we'll have some answers because I don't see any answers here yet. Okay, so the three sentences are in the chat. I'm not sure whether the new people who are just joining can see the sentences that we have written. I'm not really very familiar with the live streams and how they work, but hopefully you can guys can tell what is the you can see the sentences that we have written. So maybe let me rewrite them again. So this is one, this is two, and this is the third sentence. So maybe just for those of you who has just joined, I will probably read them again. So we left for the airport on an exceptionally sunny day. The second sentence, the sun was shining when it started to rain. Okay. And the last sentence, John woke up very tired because he didn't sleep well the previous night. Okay. So he didn't sleep. So when he woke up, he was still very tired. Okay. All right. So I think we can just start with the first sentence. All right. Hello. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but you are Awad. So if you can share with us your answers, uh, Awad. I'm not sure about whether I pronounced the name well or correctly or not, but thank you so much for the kind comment. All right. So maybe I can just start with the first one. Maybe I'm not sure whether you guys are finding some issues with the chat or not. Okay. So the first sentence that we have, the verb that we have here is left. So I wrote it in capital letters. All right. Why did we use the past simple in this sentence? Very simply, we use the past simple in the stories. Like when I'm telling a story, I use the past simple with actions that are finished and also actions that are short. Okay, so the tense or the verb that we have here is left. This is the past simple of the verb to leave. So I am inside a place. Okay, so I am inside the place, and when I leave it, I exit it. Another word for leave is to exit a place. Okay, so you are no longer in that place. You just go out of the place. Okay, so leave. When we leave a place, it doesn't take like 10 hours, or it's not like really long action. So when I want to tell you that I did this action, it was short and it was finished, I use the past simple. All right, so let me give you maybe the rule very quickly. So we use the past simple when we are telling a story. We use three main sentence or three main tenses. We use a lot of tenses, but there are three main ones. Okay, these are the main tenses that we use, and these tenses are the past simple. This is the first one. So the past simple, very simply, is when the action is finished. Okay, when the action is short. All right. And yeah, very simply, that's it. So when the action is short and when the action is finished, I want to tell you that the action is finished and it was a short action. All right. So maybe let me give you another example. So I can say John was walking and he fell down. All right. And he fell down. So let me. All right. So John was walking. So he was walking and he fell down. All right. So he fell. So here, of course, we have two tenses or two verbs, each one in a different tense, but we will focus on the one that is in the past simple, which is the second verb, which is the verb to fall. All right. So the verb to fall is very simply, so this is a pen, it's standing and it falls like this. All right. So this is the verb to fall. Why did we use the verb to fall in the past simple in this example? First, because it's a short action. When I fall down, I don't take like a long time to fall down. I just like slip and fall. All right? This is why. The second reason is that this action is finished. All right? I'm not falling now. I have already fallen in the past. So the action is finished. So this is the first tense, and this is the first reason why we use the past simple. All right? Or why we use the past simple. Yep. So let me go back to the second example that I gave earlier. So we talked about the past simple. We said we use the past simple with actions that are short in the past and are finished, like they finished earlier in the past. Now the question is, if I want to conjugate a verb in the past simple, how do I do that? All right. So I know how to use the tense, I know when to use the past simple, but the question is, how do I conjugate a verb in the past simple? The answer is very simple. We have two cases in English. I'm not sure whether you guys know what are the cases that we have. So if you know what are the two cases, or if you know the rule of how to put a verb in the past simple, let me know in the chat and before how how do we put a verb in the past simple. So let me know if you are familiar with how we put a verb in the past simple. Say for example the verb I will give you a couple of verbs and I want you guys to tell me what is the past simple forms of these verbs. So let's say for example the verb to start, maybe we can say the verb finish, maybe the verb visit, and let's say the verb um, eat, and finally the verb to go. So can someone tell me what is the past simple of each one of those verbs? So start, finish, visit, eat, and go. So you can write them for me in the chat. So I'm waiting for your answers. Hopefully you can see me and you can hear me well. I hope it's not a mistake on, or it's not a problem on my end. Um, I hope the picture is clear, the sound is clear as well. All right, all right. Okay, so maybe I will answer them for you guys. All right. So basically, for these verbs, I will just give you the forms of them in the past simple, and you can tell me, or you can try, or you can know what is the pattern that we have here. So for the verb to start, the past simple, very simply, is started. For the verb to finish, it's finished. And for the verb visit is visited. For the verb to eat, it's ate. And for the verb to go, it's went. All right. So I'm not sure whether you can notice it or not, but very simply, we have two cases here. The first case is with verbs like start, verbs like finish, and verbs like visit. Okay. So what happens? To put these verbs in the past simple, we simply add an ed. Okay, and we call this kind of verbs regular verbs. So regular verbs, so very simply, to put them in the past simple, we put verb plus ed in the end. All right, so this is the first case. Other examples of regular verbs in English are verbs like play, which gives us played, verbs like stay, which gives us stayed, verbs like study, which gives us studied. All right, and maybe okay, studied. Maybe I can add one more verb, which is, say, for example, let's say ignore, for example, or arrive, verb to arrive, which is the verb comes in the past verb arrive. So this is the first type of verbs, which is like verbs that take ed in the past simple. All right. So this is the first case. The second case is verbs like eat and go. So we have verb to eat, for example. So the past simple is ate. The verb to do is did, and the verb to go is went. These verbs do not follow the rule that we talked about earlier. Okay, so we don't add an ed. So what happens basically? We add, or the whole verb changes. All right. So it becomes ate. So the whole verb changes, and it's not like we add an ed. Same thing for did, do. So it becomes did. All right. Or for the verb go, it becomes went. I'm not sure whether you know other irregular verbs. So these are called irregular verbs because they don't follow the first rule that we talked about. Okay, so irregular verbs. So if you know any other irregular verbs, if you can mention them or write them for me in the chat. Um, okay. So let me just please check the some of the settings before I carry on. Okay. All right. And okay. All right. Okay. So if you can write for me any other irregular verbs that you know, so verbs that do not follow the rule of adding ed in the end. So maybe I can give you some. For example, the verb to speak, what I'm doing now. So to speak English, in the past it becomes spoke. All right. Same thing for verbs like say the verb to. Okay, great, awesome, yes. All right. So I'm finally getting some interaction. Okay, thank you so much. So yes, so the verb to speak is spoke. Let's see verbs like. Who can tell me what is the past simple of verbs like to read, for example? So the verb to read. What is the past simple of the verb to read? It's totally fine. I know you guys are busy, and I'm very happy that you still found the time to join us. All right, wonderful. So, could you please write for me your name because I cannot read Russian? So, thank you so much. But absolutely, you are correct. The verb to read actually stays the same. It doesn't change. All right. So read, it changes in pronunciation actually. So how do we change that? So if I say I read, this is the present simple. I read a book every day. I read a book every day. Right. So I read a book every day. Read. Okay. So it's long E. But if I say I did the action yesterday, I should say I read. I read. Okay. So read in the present, but in the past it changes only in the pronunciation. It becomes read. Exactly. Absolutely. So it's like the verb, like the color red. All right. So it's we pronounce it in the past like the color red, though we still write it read. Okay. Can you give me some other examples of irregular verbs, verbs that do not follow the rule of ed, if you know any? So if you know any verbs that do not follow the rule, so that we, if we want to put them in the past simple, we should change like the whole verb. All right. Okay, so let me give you another one. Let me give you another example. Maybe you're still thinking about other examples. Another verb that we have is the verb to. All right. So okay, I will take the verb that you gave me in the chat, which is the verb to understand. Could you please tell me what didn't you understand so that I can explain again? Okay. So understand. So when you understand something, you get it. So for example, the lesson I'm talking about now, or if I say something, you can say, okay, I understand. I get the idea that you are trying to say. All right. So this is the verb to understand the meaning. And in the past, we don't say understand it. So we don't say that. We say rather, we say understood. Okay. So understood. Exactly. So um right. Understand. So if you can tell me what didn't you understand, the our followers, so if you can tell us what you didn't understand so that I can explain it to you. All right. So let me repeat again for those of you who has just joined. So this is our second live stream. Today we are talking about narrative tenses. Narrative tenses meaning what are the tenses that we use when we are telling a story. Since the theme of our whole channel is what are the tenses we use when telling a story. Basically, the first tense that we talked about is the past simple. The past simple. The past simple, when do we use it? When we are telling a story, we use it with short actions. For example, fall, all right? Or break. So if I take this pen and I do like this, I break it. Okay. Break is a short action. It doesn't take a long time. All right. And also, when I want to say, I want to tell you that the action is finished. Okay. It's not a long action and it's not an action that is still happening. It stopped in the past. All right. So we put the verb in the past simple. Now that we know when to use the past simple, how do we use the past simple? We said that we have two cases for verbs. So the first one is all right, perfect, Abdurrahman. Okay, thank you. Perfect. I hope you guys are still following because I don't get a lot of interaction in the chat, so I don't know whether everything is clear, whether you guys are having some issues with the picture or with the image or with the sound or with the explanation. So if you can tell me what's going on in the chat, I will be very thankful to you. Okay, so what I was saying is now we know when do we use the past simple when telling a story. So we said short actions and finished actions, action that finished in the past. Now how do we put a verb in the past simple? We said we have two cases. The first cases is what we call regular verbs. Okay, regular verbs very simply are verbs that that follow a rule. The rule is very simply add an ed in the end. So let me give another example. So we have listen. So listen. Okay. So I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. So in the past, it becomes listened. So if you notice, we added an ed in the end. So Okay, listened. In the past, I listened. Maybe, for example, for instance, um, visit. So it becomes visited. Okay, so this is very simply the past simple. The other case is irregular verbs, so verbs that do not follow this rule, and these are verbs, for example, like the verb to see. So to see, if I say, if this happened in the past, I will say I saw. So the whole verb changes. Okay, so it changes. Yes. So you still need a W there in the saw, but absolutely, I know you were. It's just a typo. All right. So this is basically it. Maybe another verb, or okay, let's see. So another verb is, let me give you write. So the verb to write, I'm writing. So what is the past simple of the verb to write? If you guys know it, you can write it for me in the chat while I bring the charger for my laptop because it's telling me that it's gonna turn off. So very quickly, I will just bring my charger and be back with you. Okay, sorry for that. I totally forgot um, to plug. Absolutely, absolutely. So for the verb to write, the past simple is wrote. So I write every day. This is the present simple. But in the past, I say I wrote a letter yesterday. I wrote a letter yesterday. So the action was short and it's finished. Wonderful, great. So let me go back and bring the second sentence that I gave you in the beginning. All right. So okay, so I will give you a one that is very simple. All right, I will give you a very simple sentence. The sentence is like this. Okay, so the sentence is, John was walking and he fell down. John was walking and he fell down. All right. So basically, we have here two verbs and two tenses, two different tenses. What are they? So the first one is the verb fell, and the first one is the verb was walking. All right. I started with the second one because it's the first case that we saw. So fell, that's the past simple, okay, of the verb. Who can tell me which verb is that? Verb fell. What is the verb in the simple present or in the infinitive? So it's the past simple of which verb? I'll wait for your answers. Okay, so I was saying the verb fell. What is the origin of the verb fell? What is the present of the verb fell? For example, verb wrote, the origin of it or the infinitive is right. So fell is already in the simple past. So what is the original? Phil fallen. Great, Abdurrahman, but that's the past simple and the past participle. But actually, the origin is the verb to fall with a fall. Okay, so let me write this again. So fall in the past simple, it gives us fill. All right. So it's an irregular verb. It doesn't follow the rule. Maybe let me give you another example that will be clearer to you guys. Okay. John was okay. Let me see. So John was listening to music when his mother opened the door. Maybe this one will be clearer for you guys. So John was listening to music. So I'm listening to music when his mother opened the door. Okay, so his mother opened the door. Again, we have two verbs here. The first verb is the verb to listen, and the second verb is the verb to open the door. Okay, so the verb to open is in the past simple. Is in the past simple. which is it gives us opened. All right. Why did we use the past simple in this case? Because we have a short action. So when I open the door, it's not a long action. It doesn't take a long time to open a door. It's just like a couple of seconds. Okay. Just very quickly, I open the door. And the second thing is because this action is finished. His mother is not opening the door now. The action is finished. Okay. So this is the first case, which we saw the past simple. Now, let us look at the second verb, which is to listen. The verb to listen is written was listening. So I want to ask you guys, what what form is this? What is this form of the verb? So which tense is this? So was listening. Which tense is this? Is it the present? Is it the past? And if it's the past, which past? So let me hear your answers. Great, it is the past indeed, but which past? Is it the past simple, like we saw earlier, or is it a different past, a different form of past? So which past is that? All right, so I will wait for your answers. Exactly, it's not the simple. That's not the simple past. I completely agree with you. Because we said listen in the past simple, it's listen. We add ed. So this, all right. So since you forgot the name, I will give you the name. So remember this very well. Remember this. Whenever you see the verb to be plus a verb plus ing, this means that this is continuous. So very simply, the test that we are looking at is the past continuous. We also call it a different name, which is the past progressive. Okay, so the past progressive. So we either call it the past simple or the past progressive. Why do we call it that? Because the past continuous, unlike the past simple, which talks about short actions that are finished, the past continuous talked about long actions. All right, it talks about long actions. So I'm listening to music. So maybe I was listening to music for 1 hour and then my mother opened the door. All right, so let me repeat it again. So I was listening to music for a long time and then my mother opened the door. So we have here long action and the short action in the same sentence. So what did we do? For the short action, we use the past simple. And for the long action, we use the past continuous. I hope it's clear for you. And let me give you another example. But this time, I want you guys to put the verbs in the right tense. All right. So let me write for you the tense or the sentence, but the verbs will not be conjugated. They will be between parentheses, but not conjugated. Your task is to conjugate them. So let me give you the sentences. Let's see, Mary was taking, or okay, I already gave the answer actually. Okay, so take a shower when the telephone ring. All right. So okay. So let me maybe okay. All right. So this is the sentence. I want you guys to tell me what what tenses are we going to use. So imagine I'm telling a story to someone, and in this story I have this sentence: Mary take a shower when the telephone ring. So if you, I will give you guys some time. Tell me what tense are we going to use for each verb. Perfect. Can you tell me your name, please? The Russian follower? Because I don't know how to read Russian. So if you can please tell me how to read your name so that I can use it. Artyom. Okay. All right. Artyom. Great. Great. Lovely name. I don't know the meaning of it, but that sounds like a lovely name. So can you tell us why did you use was taken and not took? Why did you use the past continuous and not the past simple? All right, wonderful. So that's how you pronounce it, Artyom. Okay, great. Wonderful name. This is the first time I hear this name. So Artyom. So if you can tell me why did we use the past continuous and not the past simple? Okay. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my my chat box so that I can see you better. Okay. I still haven't gotten like an answer yet, but okay, understandable. All right, wonderful, wonderful. So because taking a shower, so taking a shower is when I'm like washing my body and stuff. This takes time. It's a long action. All right. And while I was taking the shower, the telephone rang. Okay. So this is another rule actually, which is that when we have one sentence and it has two actions, a long one, and there is a short one that stops it, for the long one, we use the past continuous, and for the short one, we use the simple past. Okay? So again, so the sentence will become like this. So let me rewrite for you the sentence so that you can understand. Okay? So Mary take a shower. So the sentence will become Mary was taking a shower when the telephone for the telephone so for the telephone to start ringing, when the telephone starts ringing, this is a short action, so it started ringing. Okay, so to ring is when someone is calling you on the phone, so the phone starts ringing. This is quite a short action compared to taking a shower. Okay, so we will use the past simple. The past simple of ringing, the phone is ringing, is rang. So the sentence will become like this. Mary was taking a shower. She was taking a shower. It's a long action. And while she was taking a shower, the telephone rang. Okay. So this is another case, or this is the second case, which is the past continuous. So let me maybe remind you guys of the two tenses that we have seen so far before we go to the third and last tense of today. So what did we say? So we said that we have three main tenses that we use when telling a story. Of course, there is more, but we are just focusing on these three for today. Okay, we will see more tenses in the other sessions. Okay, in the other live streams. So we said that we use three main ones. The first one we call it the simple past. All right, the simple past. So basically, the simple past we use it with short and finished actions. Okay, so something that is short or something that is finished, all right, in the past. For the second, and we said of course that when we want to conjugate a verb in the past simple, we have two cases. The first case is the regular verbs. These are verbs that follow a rule. The rule is put ed. So for example, visit becomes visited, play becomes played, correct becomes corrected, and listen becomes listened. And watch, for example, watch becomes watched. All right? This is the first case. The second case is irregular verbs which don't follow this rule, so the verb changes in a different way. So, for instance, eat becomes ate, do becomes did, see becomes saw, and eat, for example, becomes ate. All right? So, this is the first case. The second tense that we saw is the past continuous. Okay, so for the past continuous, we said that we use it with long actions, all right, in the past. We use it with long actions. So the simple past, short actions, long actions, we use the past continuous. And when we have a sentence where there is a long action and the short action, for the long action, we use the past continuous, and for the short action, we use the simple past. I will give you another sentence so that we can like understand these first two rules very well before we move to the third tense. Okay, So let's see. Let's see. I watch TV. All right. So I watch TV. Uh, all right. When uh, my father come back from work. Okay, so I watch TV when my father come back from work. So your task is to tell me what is the tense that we are going to use for watch and what is the tense that we are going to use for come back. So I will give you a couple of minutes, maybe you guys want to think about this. And of course, I hope I will hear more and the new viewers because I'm interacting with the only Artium for now. So if I would be very thankful if I can great watched. So you need a T. And why did we use watched Artium? Can you tell me why it's watched? Do you have a reason to say it's watched? Or anyone here who is watching the live stream came back perfect. Abdurrahman, perfect. So came back. So I have watched and came back. So both of them are in the simple past. So if you can tell me, guys, why watched? Okay, so the same answer for you. All right. Let me see if there are any more guesses. What about you, Artium? What is the tense that we are going to use with comeback? So for Abdurrahman, he said that we are going to use came back and watched. What about you? So you said watched. What about come back? Which tense are we going to use? So I will wait for your answers, guys, and then we can correct and see what is the rule that we have here. All right, Archie. So you are changing your mind about watch. So why did you say was watching, and why did you change your mind? If you can tell me the reason, that will be wonderful. And then I will correct and tell you what is the correct form. So, is it watched or was watching, and is it came back or was coming back? So, okay, we have two tenses. And this is why knowing the tenses is very important because when I'm writing, imagine I'm writing a story, I should know whether am I going to use the past simple? Am I going to use the past continuous? Am I going to use the past perfect? Which tense am I going to use? Come back or came back, Artium. So if you can tell me maybe if you can tell me why, I will prefer that. So if you can tell me why, do you think it's this or that tense? So I'll wait for your answers, and maybe let me pin the answer or pin the question so that maybe everyone who has just joined can see the question. So we have the sentence is if when to come back. Honestly, I didn't get the last your last comment, Artium. Honestly, I didn't get the last comment. But let me probably I will answer it for you. So I will answer it for you. So basically, we use the past continue. Oh, okay. So we have here in the sentence we have two verbs, watch and came back. Basically, you should imagine it like this. I was watching the TV for a long time. When I watch TV, I don't just like watch it for 2 seconds, all right? Or I don't just watch it like this and go. Of course, I watch it for a long time, all right? So basically, this is a long action, and at the end of it happened a short action, which is someone came back. All right. I hope it's clearer now. So when we have two actions, one is long and one is short, The long action, we put it in the past continuous, and the short action, we put it in the past simple. All right? So the sentence will become something like this. So let me copy it so I can put it here. So basically, the sentence will become something like this. All right. So it will become like this. I was watching the TV for a long time, and then my father came back. So to come back is a very short action compared to watching the TV. All right. So I was watching the TV for a long time, and then my father came back or entered into the room. So the long action, watch, we use the past continuous because it's a long action. So it becomes was watching. And for the second verb, it's short action comparatively, like compared to the other verb. So it's shorter action. So we say came back. The past of come, the past simple of come is came with a. All right. So come becomes came. So let me maybe write it for you so you can remember it. Okay, so becomes came in the past. All right. So this is the second case. First case, past simple. We saw the past continuous. Now let us see the past perfect. So the third tense is the past perfect. And I want you guys to tell me, what do you know about the past perfect? So let me give you, for example, verb to visit. Can any one of you tell me how can we put this verb in the past perfect before I show you when do we use it? So can you tell me how do we use it, the way we put the verb in the past continuous or in the past perfect before I tell you when do we use it, which cases do we use it? So while I'm copying the another example, so I will wait for your answers. Let me just because I have already written a okay, here it is. All right. Visited, it's regular. Absolutely, it is regular. But that's the past simple that you used actually, Artyom. So you use the past simple because the past simple, it's in the past simple where we said we add ed. But the tense we are talking about here is the past perfect actually. It's not the past simple. So this is the sentence that I used earlier. So this is the sentence that I gave you earlier that has the past perfect. So can you look at the sentence that I have just written and tell me what is the form of the past perfect? How do we put a verb in the past perfect? So John woke up very tired because he hadn't slept well last night. Third, um, I didn't understand. Wake. Not really, Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman, not really. Because that's the past simple, actually. So that's the past simple. All right. But you are correct. The verb to woke is the past simple of wake. I completely agree with you on this point. So wake is the past simple of woke. But that's not the past perfect. That's the past simple. So let me give you the verbs. So basically, so we have here two verbs. The first one is woke up, and woke up, as we have seen in the first case, it's used the simple past. It's the simple past of wake up. I hope this one is clear. So wake up is when you open your eyes in the morning. It's a short action. It doesn't take a long time to open your eyes. So you are sleeping and suddenly you wake up. All right. So you wake up. It's relatively a short action. Now, the second verb that we have in this sentence is had or hadn't slept. All right, had or hadn't slept. Had slept is basically the past perfect of the verb to sleep. All right, sleep. So sleep in the past simple it's slept, and in the past perfect it's had slept. So the past perfect is like this. So I will give you the rule for the past perfect. The past perfect is basically had plus verb in the past participle. All right. So past perfect is had plus past participle. Can we give some examples? Of course, we will give some examples. Let's see. So visit in the past perfect, it becomes had visited. All right. So visit in the past perfect, it becomes has visited. Let's see watch. Who can tell me what is the past participle or the past perfect of watch? All right. So watch, for example, what is the past participle of watch? So watch, same thing, you will just use the rule that I gave you there. So let me pin the rule so that you can all see it. Perfect, Artyom. Artyom. Perfect. So it's had watched, like, okay, let me remember the name. Yes, Artyom. Yes, Artyom. So like Artyom, right. But Bashir, what you wrote is not the past perfect, it's the past simple. In the past perfect, you need to add had in front of the verb, like Artyom did. I hope it's clear. Please confirm with me if you have understood. Otherwise, I can explain it again if you want. Okay? But very simply, the past perfect, we add had, and then we add the verb in the past participle. Let me give you another example. What is the past participle or the past perfect of eat? All right. So let me see if anyone will know the answer to this one. So what is the past perfect of the verb to eat? So for watch, it's had watched. For great, great Artyom, perfect. You are a very good student. Wonderful. So it's had eaten. I completely agree with you. Yes, it's had eaten. Though eaten, it's just one T. All right. Maybe let me give you one last example, which is let's see verb. Uh, so eat, listen. Uh, all right. So I will just put verbs like okay, do. Okay. So what is the past perfect of do? All right. So of the verb to do. Had done. Okay, Artyom, perfect. So you came prepared for the session, I see. But wonderful, exactly. So for past perfect, it's had plus verb in the past participle. So I hope the rule is clear. So the rule for the past perfect, I hope it's clear. If it's not clear, please let me know in the chat box. I will be more than happy to re-explain it again. Okay? So this is the rule for the past perfect. Now the question, when do we use it? What are the cases when we use the past perfect? So let's give the same example that I have given before, and maybe you guys can try to tell me when do we use the past perfect? So, because we said for the past simple, we use it with short actions. For the past continuous, we use it with long actions in the past. How about the past perfect? How about the past perfect? So if I'm writing the story, if I'm writing a story, I know how to use the past simple, I know how to use the past perfect, I know how to use the past continuous, but when am I going to use it? Which verb, which action, which type of action should be put in the past simple? Which type of action should be put in the past simple? And which action should be put in the past perfect? So let me know in the chat if you have any idea. Maybe I will give you 2 minutes, or not 2 minutes is very, very long. So I will give you maybe 30 seconds to know, and then I will just tell you the rule so that you can understand it. So very quick reminder. So we are talking today about narrative tenses that we use in the when we are telling a story. Imagine a story. I have a lot of verbs. I have a lot of tenses in English. So a lot of people get confused. Which tense am I going to use? Am I going to use the future? Can I use the past simple? Can I use the past perfect? Can I use the present continuous? There are a lot of tenses in English. So today we are focusing only on three tenses. The first tenses is the past simple. So we said that it's used with when an act is accomplished. I understand what you are trying to say, Artyom, but it's not different what you said. It's not different from the past simple, because the past simple also talks about an action that is accomplished, that is finished. When I say, for example, I watched a movie yesterday, this means that the action is finished. I hope it's clear. So the action is finished. So here we don't understand what is the difference between the past simple and the past perfect. But actually, there is a rule for that. All right, I will give you the rule. So before I give you the rule, let me remind you very quickly for the past simple, the past continuous, so that you can see the past perfect very clearly. The past simple, we use it with finished actions in the past that are short. I listened, I watched, so short. Or I broke, I fell down. For long action, I was watching TV, I was playing tennis, I was listening to music, I was watching a movie. All right, a lot of action that are long, or I was sleeping, long action, or I was taking a shower, I was taking a shower, long action. We use the past continuous. The last one, the past perfect, we use it as follows. So I hope you will follow with me for this one. And please, if it's not clear, let me know again. So basically, we use the past perfect. This is the present, okay? And this is the past. So this is the present and this is the past. The past perfect is what happens before the past. Let me repeat this again, or maybe let me use some pencils so that you can understand. Unfortunately, I have prepared a presentation for you guys, but unfortunately, it didn't work here on YouTube. It was very sad, unfortunately, because I spent some time preparing a presentation for you so that you can understand everything, but unfortunately, it didn't work here on the live streaming. I have three pens here. So this is the present. This is now. So now I'm talking. We are having a live stream. We are learning English. All right. Yesterday, I watched a movie. This is the past. So this is the present. This is the past. The past perfect happened before the past. Okay. So it happens before the past. Let me give you an example, or let us analyze the example that we have seen before. So the example says, John woke up very tired. When did John woke up very tired? In the past. So imagine yesterday he woke up very. So this is now. This is now. This is the past. John woke up very, very tired. Why did John woke up in the past very tired? Because before it, he hadn't slept well. So John hadn't slept well. So later he woke up very tired, and now I'm telling you about it. I hope it's clear. Let me give you another example. Let me give you another example. when we arrived at the airport, the plane had already uh, left. Okay, that's the example. I just gave it to you in the chat. So when we arrived at the airport, the plane had already arrived. The plane had already arrived, had already left. So let me say it again. So we arrived, we came to the airport, but we found that the airplane had already gone. It's gone. All right, maybe I will use just the verb to go. I'm sorry. The verb go, which is a little bit clearer to some of you than the verb left. Okay, so it's just the past perfect of the verb go. All right. So when we arrived at the airport, the plane has already gone. So what do we have here? We have two actions. The first one is to arrive at the airport, and the second verb is the plane had gone. The question now, which action happened first? Is it arriving at the airport? We came to the airport, or the plane had left the airport? I will give you the floor. Let me know which action happened first. Which one happened first? So is it the arrive or is it go? So which one happened first? Let me see if you guys will know in the chat. Okay. I didn't see any answer yet. So arrive. All right. So arrive. Is it the first action or the second action? I don't mean which action is first in the sentence, but which action is first in time? Which one happened first? In time? In time, Artyom? Is it in time or in the sentence? I'm talking about the time. Which one happened first in time? Gone. Great, Abdurrahman. Actually, you are correct. Okay. Can you tell me whether you can see what I'm writing? Can you tell me whether you see what I'm writing? So, but I'm not sure whether you can see it or not, but maybe it will be flipped. So I will just use my hands. Probably I will just use my hands. Okay, so basically the plane go or the plane went or left the airport and then we arrived to the airport. Okay, so basically the first action in time, all right, is all right, Artyom. So let me ask the question again. So my question was, which action arrive? So we have two actions in this sentence. We have arrive and we have go. All right, so we have arrive and go. My question is, which one of them happened first? Which one happened first? Is it arrive or go in the sentence? Which one happened? Notice happened. So which one happened in time first? I'm not sure whether there is like a little gap between us because maybe I asked the question and it takes some time to reach you guys. But yeah, I'm doing my best to. Okay, so when the plane go, I think I'm not sure whether we arrive or not, but basically, Artyom, let me explain to you the sentence. So when I say that when we arrived, the plane had already gone, this means that the plane had gone and then we arrived. All right. So the plane had gone and then we arrived. Basically, we have two actions, arrive and go. When we arrived the airport, already left. And this is when we use the perfect. So let me repeat again. So we use the past perfect when two actions happen in the past. So both actions happen in the past, but one happens before the other. Let me say this again. So we use the past perfect when two actions happen in the past. So in this example that we have here, both actions arriving at the airport and the airplane going or leaving, both of them happened in the past. They don't happen in the present. Both of them in the past. But one of them happened before the other. All right. So the plane had left and then we arrived to the airport. By the way, we can have some keywords sometimes, some words that can help us to know when or where should we use the past perfect. For example, in this sentence, we have the verb already. Whenever or mostly whenever you see already, this means that you should use the past perfect. Okay? Let me give you another example. And this time you will put the verbs in the right tense. Okay? So arrive. All right. So this is the second example, which is that when we arrive to the cinema, the movie already started. So again, we have two actions here. Which one happened first? Which one happened second? And what is the tense that we are going to use with each verb? I will wait for your answers. I will give you probably 30 seconds or so before I give you the answer. Abdurrahim, arrive. Which tense did you use, Abdurrahim? Which tense did you use? Which tense did you use and why? Why did we say arrive? Ah, okay. So arrive is first. Actually, exactly, Artyom. Actually, it start. Exactly. Why did we say it start that happens first? Because when we came to the cinema, exactly, perfect. But watch with the tenses, Artyom. Watch with the tenses. The tenses are not correct because then we arrive. So the tense that happens first should be in the past perfect. And the tense or the verb that happens second should be in the simple past. Can you give it another try, Artyom or Abdurrahman, if you can? Not really. Can you try again? Can you try again? Because for arrive, Artyom, is it the first verb or the second verb? I didn't understand the word. I didn't understand your comment, Abdurrahman. So I will give you a couple of seconds. Okay. All right. Maybe I should give, maybe I can give the answer. So basically, this is what happened. So in this sentence, we have two verbs. The first verb is to arrive, and the second verb is to start. The movie has started. So when we arrive, the movie had already started. So I said that when two actions happen in the past, the first one to happen, the first one that happens, we put it in the past perfect. and the second one we put it in the simple past. So how will be this? How would the sentence be? So it will become something like this. So let me correct it, or let me put the verbs in the right tenses. So we will write something like this: when we arrived. All right. So when we arrived, okay, so the simple past because it happened later. The movie had already begun. So this is the first action that happened. So we put it in the past perfect. That is to say, had plus ed, had plus ed, or had plus past participle. So I hope the third rule is clear for you guys. So I will give you three sentences, and basically the three sentences we will see all the three tenses that we have seen today. So let me first, before I give you the examples or before I give you the verbs or the exercise, let me remind you of what we are doing here and what we have done so far. So this is our second live stream. So the topic of the live stream is narrative stories. So stories that we use, or narrative tenses. That is to say, the verb tenses that we use when we are telling a story. If I want to write a story, what tenses shall I use? English has a lot of tenses. We said that for stories, we use many tenses, but we have three main ones. What are the three main tenses that we use when we are telling a story? First, we use the past simple. Okay, so we use the past simple with short, finished actions. Okay, the second tense that we saw was the past continuous. Okay, so we said that we use the past continuous with actions that are long in the past. Okay, so long actions in the past. And the third tense is the past perfect. Okay, and for the past perfect, we use. I didn't understand what you mean by tall, Abdurrahman. If you can explain it to me, I would appreciate that so that we can have a good interaction. And as I was saying, so the last tense that we saw was the past perfect. Okay, the past perfect. We have two actions, and one happened before the other. All right, so two actions happened in the past before another. Maybe let me explain or re-explain to you the past perfect because it's the one that is a little bit difficult to understand. For the past simple, it's very clear: short action, finished action. That's the past simple. Long action, actions that take a lot of time. That's the past. Exactly. Short, but we don't say tall, Abdurrahman, we say long actions. But I completely agree with you. You are correct. So I was saying for the past perfect, so we have two actions. Both of them happened in the past, but one happened before the other. So this happened and then this happened. Okay. So the first one to happen in time, we use the past perfect. What is the past perfect? We simply add had plus the verb in the past participle. So verb in the past participle. All right. Let me give you now maybe 3, 5 sentences, and your task will be to put the tenses in the right or put the verbs in the right tense. So if you allow me, I will just copy some examples that I have already prepared. Okay. All right. And unfortunately, I can just like paste everything, so I will paste them one by one. Okay. All right. So this is the first one. So rain And the second one is wake up. So this is the first example and the first sentence. So your task will be to put the verbs between parentheses in the right tense. So it rain outside when Sam wake up. When Sam wake up. What is the tenses that we are going to use with with each verb? So let me give you another one. All right. So all right. Uh, all right. Correct. So the second sentence, while he watched TV, he hears someone knock on the door. This is to knock on the door. So when I visit someone, when I visit my friend, I knock on the door. Okay. So what is the tense? The same thing. So what are the tenses that we are going to use in each one of these sentences? Let me give you one last sentence. We explain these and then we end our live stream. So the last sentence will be something like this. John. Okay, let's use different verbs. So maybe I will use the verb to meet. In the last example, I will use the verb to meet. In Oh, so let me ask you a question, Abdurrahman. Is that a short to watch TV? Watch TV. Is it short action or long action? I have just shared with you the last sentence. So John meet, all right, we meet the man he see on TV the previous night. So John was walking in the street and he meet. So to meet is when you are face to face with another person, a man, and that man he see in the night before. So let me see. Okay, so I see Iman has joined us. Hello, hello. All right. So John meet the man that he see on TV the previous night. So for Artyom's okay, I'm so sorry. I I mistake your mispronounced your name. Artyom. Okay, Artyom. All right, great. So for Artyom, for the first sentence, she said that, or he said, I'm not sure, was raining and had waked up. Not really. So for the first verb, you got it correct. So it was raining. So this is a long action, but it's followed by a short action. For short actions, if you remember Artyom, we said that it's the past simple. It's the past simple. So the sentence will be something like this. So let me write it for you. Where is the sentence? I lost it. Okay, let me see the sentence. Okay, okay, here it is. I found it. Okay, finally found it. Okay, perfect. So, all right. So we will come to the second one. So let me just go back one by one. Iman, while he is watching TV. All right. So that's the other sentence. That's the second one. So let me correct the first one. So the first one will be something like this. It was raining. So we have a long action in the past. It was raining when Sam woke up. So when Sam woke up, okay. So the long action we use the past continuous, and for the short action we use the past simple. Let me see now the second sentence. So I think the second sentence, Iman, you got it correct. So while he watched TV, he hears someone knock on the door. Okay. So basically, here it's the same case. We have a long action and then it's stopped by a short action, which is like when I hear someone knock on the door, I stop watching, of course. I stop watching the TV. So here, like Iman said, so I will just copy Iman's answer, which is correct. So while he was watching the TV, he heard someone knock on the door. Brilliant, Iman. Great, thank you. Woke up. Exactly, Atsum. So woke up, we don't say waked up. Uh, uh, Maybe I will give you actually, you know what? I will give you another sentence before we correct the third one. So before we correct the third one, which is John meet the man, etc. I will give you another sentence because this one is very interesting. I really like this sentence. So let's say um, I will give the example with Iman since she has just joined us. Iman shower and while she listen music. Okay, so if you guys get this one correct, I will know that you have understood these three tenses. So the sentence goes like this. So Iman take a shower while these are two actions that happen at the same time. She listened to music. So she was doing two things. So she was taking a shower and at the same time she listened to music. So exactly, perfect. Artyom, you are correct. So you are correct, Artyom, for the third one. Perfect. All right. So let us correct the last sentence that I have written. So let me rewrite it again. Hello, Rihan. Hello and good evening. So let me rewrite the sentence that I have written in the end. So Iman take a shower while she listened to music. As I said, if you guys can get this one, I will know that you have understood this lesson. Iman, wonderful job. Great. Yes, you got it correct. Okay. You deserve an applaud. Great. Fantastic. Um, yes, okay. So I don't know how to go back. Oh, I don't know how to go back to. I don't know. Okay. All right. Okay. Perfect. I have now though it's emojis. All right. Okay. Okay, Abdurrahman, hello. Okay, so maybe you have joined through a different account, but thank you for joining. Rehan, thank you for joining. And Iman, same for Artyom. Thank you guys for joining. So, yes, Iman got it correct. So, basically, we have two long actions actually in the last sentence. So, Iman was taking a shower. So, this is a long action and at the same time she was listening to music which is also a long action. So I hope that you have noticed what happens in the kind of sentences. So basically when we have a long action and the short action in the same sentence, the long action takes the past continuous and the short action takes the past simple. All right. But when we have the same thing for Artyom, exactly. So was taking a shower, exactly. So perfect, guys. I think you got it. I think you got the lesson. Great. So now let's go back to the other sentence. I think Artyom got it correctly. So basically, let me rewrite the sentence and then explain it once more before I give the answer that was given by Artyom here. Okay, so John meet the man that he see on TV the previous night. Here, what is the case that we have? We have two actions, Both of them happened in the past. However, they didn't happen at the same time. One action happened before the other. Which one of these actions happened before the other? Basically, John, he saw the man on TV, and the next day he met him on the street while he was walking. What did we say earlier? We said that the action that happens first take the past perfect. The action that happens next takes the simple past. So what are we going to say? So we are going to say John. So the verb to meet is an irregular verb. It doesn't follow the rule of adding ed at the end. So it will become meet becomes met. Okay, meet to meet someone becomes met. And for the other verb which happened first in time, so to see the man, so he saw him before he met him. So this in this sentence or in this verb, we will use the past perfect. We said the rule for the past perfect is had plus the past participle. So the past participle of see is seen, so the sentence will become had seen. So the whole sentence will become something like this. John met the man he had seen the previous night. And with this, I think we come to the end of this lesson. Let me just maybe quickly recap what we have seen. Of course, the live stream will be completely on our channel, on the YouTube channel. So you can watch it anytime you are free. You can watch it from the very beginning, and you can watch it from the very beginning, and then you can see what we have been talking about from the very beginning. But okay, let me see. I think Artyom has a question for us. How about if we have only one verb, past perfect? What it is mean? Basically, if we have only one verb in the past perfect, this means that somewhere in the paragraph there is a verb that happened after that. Always, whenever you see the past perfect in a sentence, this means that it happened before another action. So you should actually have another action that happens later. I hope my answer is clear. Maybe let me repeat it again. So whenever you see a verb that is conjugated in the past perfect, remember this. This means that it happened before another action. Okay, maybe the action is mentioned, maybe the action is not mentioned, but it's there. Okay, so this is basically it. So let me maybe quickly recap what we have seen today. So as I have said, today was our second live stream for on this channel. We couldn't have like a live stream last week because I think of you've all heard this because of the earthquake that happened here in Morocco, and also because of what's going on in Libya. So it wasn't really the best time to have this live stream. So our hearts are with the Moroccan people and also our Libyan brothers. So today we talked about narrative tenses, the tenses that we use when we are telling a story. We said that we have a lot of verbs that we can use, but we focused only on the three main ones. The three main ones that we focused on are the simple past, the past continuous, and the past perfect. We said that we use the past simple when we talk about short actions that have finished in the past. Okay, so I can say, for example, I saw you yesterday. So I saw you. All right, thank you so much, Abdurrahman. Thank you. Maybe I just remind anyone who will be watching this live stream later on the YouTube channel. So I'm just reminding them of what we have done so far. So basically, I said the past simple. We use it with short actions. I saw you yesterday. I broke my pen yesterday. I broke my hand, etc., etc. So this is the past simple, short actions and actions that have finished in the past. When we have long actions, actions that take some time, we use the past continuous. The past continuous, for example, for visit, it's was visiting, listen, was listening, play, was playing. So these are all long actions in the past. For the last tense that we saw, which is the past perfect, we said that we use it when we have two actions and one happens before. That action that happens before, that's the one that takes the past perfect, and the past perfect is had plus the past participle. So visit becomes had visited, eat becomes had eaten, and see becomes had seen. I see people are asking about our next live stream. That's very lovely of you guys. So basically, it will go like this. Mostly, we will keep having these live stream every Sunday. So like today, next week. However, sometimes we may have more than one live stream per week, so just keep an eye on the YouTube channel. Just keep an eye, check it from every now and then. Of like from time to time, you can check our YouTube channel, you can check our Facebook, and then you can like find our next live stream. Before you go, guys, maybe I will just like share with you my other YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel, where I put like actual lessons, like the one you have attended today. So let me share it with you. So that's it. So it's the channel is called English Core 101. So English Core, okay. uh, so you can follow me there so that you can like follow other lessons. And of course, here in on Woo English, we will keep posting stories. We will keep posting like short stories, biographies, and stuff. And of course, we will keep having live streams like the one we had today. So I hope you have enjoyed this live stream. I hope you have learned something about some of the tenses that we use when we are writing a story. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for the warm interaction. Rihan, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm sorry that I think you have joined a little bit late, but the live stream will be recorded on the channel, so you can go back to it and you can watch it and uh, 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 like uh, 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 like learn from it what we have done today. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night for those of you that where it's night today, and have a great day for those of you who are living where it is day. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.